Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Inside the Huddle, presented by Countryside Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Jackson, Georgia. I'm Chad Feltman, your host here with Coach Stephen Holmes, the head coach of the Pike County Pirates, and Chris Childress is here with us, and today's producer and engineer is Eric Edmondson. So happy to be back with all of you again as we get ready to enter week 3 of the season. It seems like it was just last night we were talking about the first game, and you blink your eye, Coach, and here we go, a third of the way through already.
That's right. You got to make every day count because it flies by.
We're going to South Georgia tonight. Going to head down to Americus to take on the Sumter County Panthers for a 7:30 kickoff this evening. And we're going to talk about that game coming up here in just a few moments. But as we always do, let's recap last week's game. And unfortunately, it didn't quite go our way out in Haralson County. Scoreboard was 28-0, but we had our chances in that ball game a few times, and Chris and Eric and I were sitting there, with about, 40 seconds before halftime. They break off a 70-yard run, and first possession of the third quarter, they put one in. And other than that, it was a pretty tight game. But your thoughts on week 2 at Haralson County?
We, our kids, they went out there and did what we asked them to do, for the most part. We didn't do a good job on my part getting our team prepared to play, mentally, physically. We've had a brash of injuries, and, we played a lot of backups in a lot of positions, a lot of kids out of position, and really proud of their effort that they gave. But I'll take all the load for it because I just didn't have our football team ready to play football that Friday night against that team. And Coach, not taking away from them, they're a good football team. Coach Crutchfield's done a great job building them and building their program, and he took over for a really good head coach here, a good friend of mine as well. But I was really disappointed in myself at how I had our team ready to play. But I was proud. Our kids had a long road trip, and this week they'll show a lot of resiliency bouncing back. So with you taking the blame on all that, does that mean you didn't get to sleep at home Friday night? Oh, no, did not sleep at home Friday night.
Did not get a chance to. 28-0 was the final, but Coach, again, man, it was 2 big plays, a 70-yard run and a 57-yard run for number 1 Boyd for Haralson County, and the big plays seemed like they really ate us up last week.
They did. We pride ourselves on playing great defense and winning the line of scrimmage, and those are 2 things we just didn't get accomplished last week. And, like I said, we've had some injuries in some linebacker positions and had to play some backups, and then and had some kids step up and play out of position. And, just a mistake here or there, wrong fit. We didn't do a great job getting those kids ready in the preseason and during the summer program, getting our backups ready. So, and it reared its head on Friday, and kids gave us 100% effort. We just didn't do a good job getting them ready mentally to play.
Let's talk offensively real quick because we come off that first game, 36 points on the board, 5 touchdowns thrown by the sophomore quarterback. But last week, a really tough offensive night. What was it that Haralson County did so well to give us such a fit trying to move the ball?
Just drive-killing penalties. I mean, we were self-inflicted wounds. Now we can't play behind the sticks. Again, we're trying to win the line of scrimmage on the offensive side as well. And we got a first-year quarterback who's learning, doing a great job, working hard. We got some new receivers out there, and they're doing they're working really hard, trying to do their best. But we had some drive-killing penalties that really did hurt us. And then you throw a missed assignment in there, and those really put you behind the sticks. And those are things you can't do, especially on the road against a good football team. And they just kept everything inside and in front of them and played great leverage defense and just made us kept snapping the ball, and we just could not capitalize on anything.
Well, it's like I tell my daughter all the time, there ain't nothing you can do about it now. It's time to move on.
Right,
and tonight
right.
We're on the road again from West Georgia to South Georgia, going to be taking on a team that you saw last year in your first year in Sumter County, and they took pretty good care of us last year. What about tonight? Tell us what we can expect to see from the Panthers year 2 seeing Sumter
good,
County.
Strong, physical football team. They execute well on both sides of the ball, all 3 phases. Big, strong, fast guys. Coach Rogers does a great job. He's a good friend of mine. Coaches football the right way. Their front 7 on defense are special. Those guys are really, really good. They're going to have a good running back tonight. A good offensive line's really well coached, and their skill positions are all really, really athletic. Our kids have worked really hard bouncing back this week, working on, defending this offense. And they do some things that cause you some mismatches. Our kids have worked really hard there. And then we worked on our execution on offense as well. We got to go out there and move the ball, get some first downs tomorrow, and capitalize and finish those drives in the end zone.
Well, I'll tell you that you talk about defense. Maddox Storm, I mean, that man, he's number 1 in AA right now.
He sure is.
In tackles. So they spent a lot of time on the field last week.
They did.
This week, though, is the defense tuned up for this?
They are. The biggest thing that is trying to simulate the speed of the team we're playing and get them prepared for that. And we do some things in practice to simulate that or to put them in those situations. But Maddox, him being we told him, being the state leader, that's a good thing and a bad thing, because exactly what you just said. You've been on the field so much. But, we got to help our defense out by getting some first downs and keeping the ball, keep the clock moving, and finish those drives in the end zone too, so we can put them behind the sticks.
Let's talk one more thing real quick. You're talking about good news and bad news. And I think we were joking about it last week with our Player of the Game award. And it's not every week you hear that your punter is the player of the game from the broadcast, but that's just kind of how it was last Friday night. I just want you to touch real quick on your senior punter and place kicker, Jack Hammond, and just how well he performed last Friday night.
Just a special young man. Y'all, I can't tell you how hard he works. We don't have a kicking coach specifically for him, so he spends a lot of time at practice just on the schedule that we give him and that we're able to take time before when working individual drills. And he just has a strong work ethic, high character kid, comes from a great family, just so proud of him. And he's actually, believe it or not, if you watch him on the soccer field too, he's probably one of our better athletes in the whole senior class.
There you go.
With some length.
So the O-line's been really good this year, and I'm anticipating that it's going to change a little this week. There's been a center that's been, and Drake Wright, that's been doing a lot of the snapping. Is that going to change this week?
It will. We have, like I said, our injury list has been long coming out of summer program. So we'll get our center back this week, Noah Cash. Drake does a really good job. He's kind of a Swiss Army knife. He can play guard or center for us. But we'll get Noah back. That will leave Drake. Drake's a really good defensive lineman for us. So that depth's really going to help us. Noah mentally, physically, knows our offense really well, works really hard. Just really good, intense young man. Good leader on our offensive line as well. So we're getting him back in the lineup. It's really going to help us.
Glad to have all of you tuned in for this week's edition of Inside the Huddle, presented by Countryside Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Joining us is Coach Stephen Holmes. And we've talked about last week. We've touched on tonight's game at Sumter County, but I want to kind of go off the grid a little bit and talk about the program as a group, because it's not just what we see and hear on Friday nights. I mean, we saw the other day your middle school program is sitting on a perfect record, 3-0 right now. And the other day we had some of the rec ball kids out here, the 10U guys playing at home. So just kind of touch real quick on – and I know that's something you were big on. Taking this job was not just the varsity and JV, but building this program from the rec department up. And it seems like everybody's buying in, and the success is starting to show.
I was raised in coaching, as a program coach, not a team coach. And, we believe, our football program, we take a young man in kindergarten. Here, we're only one school in our county, so that's another blessing, the luxury we have. And we're on one plot of land here on our campus. So we get able to get our hands on our kids kindergarten through 12th grade and see them all the way through school. And, and then also, too, get them involved in our rec program, which is our feeder program, and then that feeds into our middle school. And our middle school feeds into our sub-varsity and our varsity program. So we have those kids. And then, of course, once they hit middle school, we get them involved in our weight program. And then also, too, our parents, we really sell them on, you got us for 12 months a year. We're with your son academically, spiritually. We're with them 12 months a year. We're going to work with them, not just during the season. So it's a program. We work on building young men, and we pride ourselves on that. And we want to make sure, that we have good relationships, because the bottom line is we need those kids. We're trying to build some pride in them too.
Absolutely.
Kids and families are so busy nowadays. And, for them to put some time and effort into something and really building it, to establish some pride in it, then that makes that team pretty hard to beat.
Well, I know coming up on Wednesday, talking about our middle school program, they're undefeated, and they're going to be traveling to Jackson to take on their middle school program at Henderson Middle School. I believe they're undefeated as well. So Wednesday at 5 o'clock, it might be a pretty good road trip to head over to Jackson and watch the future of Pike County football go at it.
It will. Coach Sanders, Coach Collins, Coach Lopez, and Coach Flournoy, we have put such a major focus on our feeder programs, and they have done just an outstanding job. Me and Coach Sanders know each other for 15 years, and he runs that middle school program like a high school program. And then our rec programs that are playing too, our rec department is just great. And Heather Miller and Victoria, they just do an outstanding job helping us, and Josh Follett and Josh Rice, they do everything they can to help us. And we have a direct pipeline connection to our coaches and our players there. And they do an outstanding job working with our kids.
So the future is bright for sure, Chris.
Well, I tell you that, what also helps out in that whole rec program is we've got a varsity coach here that when the rec started at Brooks this weekend, and as soon as the day was over, varsity coach is publishing on Facebook, just rooting them up and picking them up and pumping them up. I mean, that is program building, and that's how you get in all of Pike County bought into this program.
Well, that's because he had to sleep in his truck Friday
right.
night
Sure
after
did.
the Haralson County
That sure
performance.
did.
His
That
wife
was a
didn't
good
let
thing
him
and a
come
bad
home,
thing.
so he was already there. What are you
That's
talking
right.
about?
That's right. That's right.
We got Coach Holmes here with us, and we're just about ready to wrap up this week's edition of Inside the Huddle. And again, tonight at 7:30, the Pirates are on the road in America. It's going to be taking on Sumter County, who coming off a big win last week over Griffin High School. So Pirates going to try to get back in the win column here this evening. All right, Coach, before you go, Chris and myself, along with Eric, who's producing for us, we're going to start something every week now and really put you on the spot.
Sounds
We're going to
good.
give your college football picks for the
Okay.
week. Of course, college football starting last night, games on tonight, and all the way through this holiday weekend. So we're going to pick our top 5 games of the week.
There's a trophy or something for this,
At
right?
the end of the year, we're going to have an award for this.
Okay, all right,
So
just make sure
it'll be
that-
Coach Holmes, it'll be yours truly, it'll be Chris Childress, and Eric Edmondson. So the 4 of us will be competing all season long. We'll come up with a prize or something, but the top 5 games this week we're keeping an eye on. I'll call out the game and the first team that you think is going to be the winner. I don't want any explanation. I don't want any breakdown. I just want Coach Holmes' instant pick.
You got it.
All right, the first game tonight, Georgia Tech at Colorado at 8 p.m. Who do you like?
Georgia Tech.
All right, I'm circling this, by the way. We've got it on video. Saturday, boy, you want to talk about an opening Saturday in college football. Let's start with the first game at 12 o'clock, Texas at Ohio State.
Hook 'em horns, Texas.
He's going Texas. All right, the 3:30 game, Alabama at FSU.
Alabama.
And the nightcap, LSU at Clemson.
Ooh, Clemson.
At Clemson in Death Valley. Coach is going with Clemson. And finally, the 5th game we'll keep track on this week. It'll actually be taking place on Sunday night at 7:30, Notre Dame at Miami.
Ooh, Miami.
Any upset specials we need to know about this week? To me, I'm thinking that Syracuse-Tennessee game, I think it's been played at Mercedes-Benz, if I'm not mistaken, this weekend.
Yes,
That's
it
going to
is.
be my upset
Ooh,
pick
that
of
is
the
a good
week.
one.
I kind of like Syracuse upsetting Tennessee. I could look like a fool come Sunday morning. Any of the schedule that maybe? Have you looked at it yet?
I
or-
have not even
Okay.
looked at it, but that sounds like a good one, though.
You going to go with that just for this week?
Knowing what I know about Syracuse
There you go.
and their coach, I agree with that.
All right, start paying attention to the schedule.
I
this
sure
week
will.
So we get
I
your
sure
upset
will.
Put you on the
specials, too.
spot, didn't
I
he?
sure will.
Hey, look, thank you all for joining us here again. Tonight, it is the Pirates and the Panthers in Americus at Sumter County High School. We hope you'll be able to join us for the broadcast. Our pregame show will start at 7 p.m., and kickoff tonight will be coming your way at 7:30. For Coach Stephen Holmes, Chris Childress, and Eric Edmondson, I'm Chad Feltman with K13 Media. Thank you for joining us today. We'll talk to you again tonight from South Georgia. Until then, let's go Pirates.